Right, yes. How's it going? What's up, Johnny and DJ Devin? Thank you for the link there. Let me also one. The what's up, Paul Cutler? All right. Welcome to all and good morning. Today I'm fighting with Tasmoda. Insists on losing all settings if I power cycle it. Tasmoda. I don't think I'm familiar. Tasmoda. Let's see. First firmware for ESP. Okay. It's like a different thing you can put on your ESP32, maybe? UTT, WebUI, HTTP, or Serial. Oh. That sounds pretty cool. Yes, 7 colors. That was that's my best guess at an answer to something he was asking over in help with. And they do have 7 color ones. They have maybe even full color ones. They've got some crazy ones out there. But the 7 color ones I am most familiar with were on a Pymaroni thing, Pymaroni Inky Frame, maybe, or something like that. And you can actually achieve quite a bit with 7 colors if you use some clever bitmap filtering, basically, to, I forget the name of the process, but you can kind of like fill in the colors. Quantize? I feel like one of the functions involved was quantize. But yeah, I don't remember the name for sure. But you can kind of, there's like a technique you can do, a filter you can do on a picture to kind of like reduce it to that set of colors, and it actually comes out pretty good. Depending on the input picture. I mean, like, certain things may not, but it gets pretty good for a lot of stuff. It's just old. Am I really scrolling around the chat? I guess that was from before. Okay. I had that so I didn't get distracted just seeing myself scroll stuff there. What's up, Jose? Nice to see you as well this morning, my friend. What is IoT for ESP32? Use it for smart home. Nice. I did one of my first sort of smart home style things recently, although it's like fully customized. It's kind of like not really based on an existing system, but I took a honestly, it's kind of overkill for what it is, but I took an accelerometer with a ESP32S2 or something, maybe S3, I don't remember, but it sits on the dryer now, and the dryer wiggles the accelerometer just enough to be perceptible in the code. And so in the code I can have basically a while loop that watches for the dryer to be done, and then it sends a message to Discord to my wife and I to get a plong, because our dryer is like a kind of old school dryer that works good and dries clothes, but doesn't have a computer really inside of it. It's not super fancy. It doesn't even have a buzzer. So yeah, now we get a little plong. And it was cool to like, I do a lot of work on microcontrollers, kind of building out libraries and all kinds of different stuff. It was cool to kind of take a step back and build a thing that's practical, even if a bit overkill, to use an accelerometer instead of not just like a vibration sensor or something like that. But it was cool to make a thing that actually solves a specific problem in my life. All right, so yes, let's do an introduction first of all for anybody that might be new. Let me also get my chats wrangled over here. We got right into it this morning. Let's get this one. Okay, here we are. Smaller. There we go. Good. Here, I don't need the preview. All right, heard that. Heard about that. I think it's show and tell. Sounds like a great usage read learn guide. I have not. I have not. I may playground it or something. I'll ask. I guess I'll ask if they want a learn guide about it. But I may playground it or add an example to requests or something. Maybe wrap it with a nice library. I don't know if I'll go that far. Yeah, I'll try to. I will try to get it published somewhere. It's not currently though. But it basically, I can tell you, it basically boiled down to it has to be to a Discord that you are like admin on, essentially, right? You need to own the Discord essentially, because the way that it does it is Discord servers have a webhook thing that can do all kinds of stuff, but one of the things that the webhook, the incoming webhook to Discord can do is accept a post request, and you send it a post request with some JSON. It has a token for authentication, and your JSON just has like message or text or content or something. I forgot what it's called, but you just send it the data you want, and it will plug the channel for you using that token that's part of the URL or part of the JSON or something. It was fairly straightforward to set up with just a post, but yeah, it would be good to document it more than that. Yep. All right, so yes, welcome and good morning. First of all, thanks for bearing with us. If you are new and you've stuck through all of this without any intro or anything, you're a trooper. Thanks for that. If you are new, my name is Tim. I go by Foamy Guy on GitHub and Discord. On this stream, which I typically do around this time each week, Saturday around 10 a.m. Central Time, we usually work on some stuff related to CircuitPython. If you don't know what CircuitPython is, you can learn more at the main website here. CircuitPython.org is basically a version of Python that runs on these tiny computers called microcontrollers. A lot of times these devices are general purpose. They have loads of sort of pins that you can connect up other stuff to. But some of these devices are a bit more targeted at a specific purpose, like this Pi Gamer is a little sort of handheld gaming type of device. That is one of these microcontrollers as well. And the way this works, if you choose to use CircuitPython to program your microcontroller device, usually how it works, you plug it into your computer with a USB cable. It shows up like a thumb drive. On that thumb drive, there's a Python code file, which you can edit with your text editor. And then when you save it, the controller, the computer that's in these little boards will actually read and interpret and execute that Python code for you. And then within the code, you can interface with whatever other hardware is hooked up to these I/O pins, or if you have one of the purpose-built ones, then typically, all the things that are built into it will be exposed for you to interface with in your Python code. That's kind of the high-level look at what CircuitPython is, what it does. As always, thank you to Adafruit. Adafruit is the company that makes CircuitPython possible by paying the team of folks who work on it. There's a team of folks who work on CircuitPython full-time, and there are folks who work on the project part-time as well. And there are folks who work on not only CircuitPython, but all sorts of other stuff for Adafruit, which would be kind of the bucket that I fall into at this point. And so even though CircuitPython is free, anyone is allowed to use it. Anyone's allowed to put it on your own microcontrollers. You could even port CircuitPython to your own microcontroller if you wanted. And you can do all of that for free. You don't have to pay Adafruit or anyone else to do so. All the code for it is open source. You can look at it. You can use it, modify it, use it in your own stuff. All of that you get for free. And Adafruit is the one making it possible by paying the folks who work on that code and the project and the documentation and everything surrounding it. So huge thanks to them. As always, if you want to help support them and CircuitPython, one of the easiest ways to do it is by purchasing hardware from them at their website, adafruit.com. You can get not only the microcontrollers themselves, many of which they also design and manufacture. You can also get all sorts of stuff to hook up to your microcontroller. So all those I/O pins where you can hook up other peripherals. they have got you covered there as well. Any kind of sensor, light, button, beeper, buzzer, slide switch, or any other sort of electronic little widget you can imagine, they have probably got you one there on the website, which you can purchase and use in your project. And where we are starting today, actually, I should have just left this here. I had these all lined up, ready to go. Where I'm starting today ultimately is to do with this Learn guide, which I made a while ago at this point, 2020, it looks like, this guide, which is creating your first tile map game with CircuitPython, and it walks you through how to build a little game where Blinka can explore this little kind of like cave or world or whatever, this map area, castle, whatever you want to think of it as. And the specific thing I'm working on today is that all the code in this used a thing called UGame, micro game. So that's like U as in ULab, the same U, which is actually U for micro. Micro game, which is a built-in module which exists in CircuitPython. Well, it's an ambiguation actually. So there's a device called this that Deshipu made. I think there's a newer version as well. So there's actually a couple of devices called this that Deshipu made, a couple of different versions. And then there's a core module, I believe, which Deshipu also made when the first one of those devices was being created, which is kind of it's kind of two things. It's kind of like an alternative to display IO. It's a different way to display stuff in CircuitPython. There's a guide that covers it as well. Here, game. I think, am I imagining? Yeah, no, this one. Doable? No, what am I? Maybe let's try CircuitPython game. I won't dig too far for it. I want to say there was a guide for it. I could be wrong, or I could be. Yeah, this is it right here. Actually, right here. Stage, which I think is part of UGame. Library consists of two modules, Stage and UGame, so it's like those two are together. Yeah, so this is the guide for it if you're interested in that. CircuitPython Stage Game Library, UGame, I think of them as together. They're kind of tied together in my mind. And so it is a different, an alternative to display IO that's aimed for games specifically, and it has control stuff inside of it for trying to abstract out different hardware control schemes. So you think about lots of video games, right? Like in this environment, sort of handheld style games, a lot of them have a D-pad, up, down, left, right. A lot of them have kind of like an A, B, A button, B button, X, Y buttons, potentially, start and select. There's kind of a common set of inputs that games tend to use. And UGame provides an abstraction for that so that different hardware can use the same software API, but still, run on different hardware. So the way this worked is like on the original, UGame device, it has its own buttons that are hooked up to whatever pins they're hooked up and whatever kind of buttons they are. The PyGamer, totally different device. It has its own buttons. They're hooked up in their own way, and this allows them to kind of both interface with the same API so that the person who wants to write a game to use this stuff doesn't have to worry about all that under the hood, like, what pins are the buttons on, and like, are they on a shift register? Are they direct, or are they pull high or pull low, or, is it a keypad module or what, right? Like, if you just want to make a game, you just want to know, like, did the player press the up button, right? You don't necessarily care so much about how we got to that point. And this was very cool. This is very cool. And that is what this code was using it for, was its ability to abstract the controls so that this code could actually run on different hardware and essentially work the same. But somewhere along the way, it was changed a bit to where once you import UGame, you kind of also get Stage, which kind of also doesn't work together with display.io. So this project that I was using it for was using UGame for the controls, but using display.io for the actual visuals. That doesn't work anymore. And I think maybe there might be some devices which don't get that compiled in, depending on the flash they have or something. So, ultimate goal is a replacement for UGame that serves the same purpose. Pew Pew, yeah, sorry, yeah, the name of the device is Pew Pew, that's right, that's totally right. And then Pew Pew M4 are the ones, I actually have a couple of those. And then I think there might be a newer one as well. And I think this library, this set of code and stuff came out around the time as the first one of those, or maybe the Pew Pew M4, I'm not sure. Yeah, so that's what we're trying to do. Luckily, most of it's already done, actually. I already have this right here, CircuitPython game controls. I was working on this a while ago. You can see the most recent commits are a while back. It is a game controls library, which does basically the exact same thing I was just saying. It abstracts it to a bunch of different pieces of hardware, and then the actual games themselves don't have to worry about it anymore. If we look in the examples, we can see the interface is just from game controls, import game controls. You can fetch the current state with game controls.button. Actually, I don't care for so much now that I'm reading it because it's like singular, sort of, and it doesn't say state, and it says button, even though there's more than one buttons. Anyway, maybe we'll change it. And then once you have that, you can access it like a dictionary. A, B, start, select, up, down, left, right. And you can just get values, booleans, true, false, for whether those buttons are being pressed or not. And you can implement debouncing if you want it as well by storing the previous state and comparing. So this basically exists, but the thing is, it exists right now in this very minimal repo, which is basically just the library, the one example, the license, and the get ignore. There's nothing else here. I would like to add it to the bundle, because if I add it to the bundle, the community bundle in this case, if I add it to the community bundle, then I'm going to be able to use it in this Learn Guide code, and it will work with the project bundle thing here, and it will work with the screenshot thing wherever the code screenshots are at. There are none on this page, but they exist. You can take my word for it. And if our library is in the community bundle, then it will work for that as well. So we need to basically just get this ready to put into the community bundle, for which we are going to use Cookie Cutter over in the Cookie Kitchen, which is where I cook all my cookies. See, I have a lot of test repos. I should probably, why don't we go delete some test repos, actually? Let's clean up some of our old cookies before we go to ham here. Ham cookie? I don't think that'd be very good. M4 is the most powerful that's compatible with MakeGame code. Yeah, MakeCode game, excuse me. We're well past M4. Yeah, that's true. MakeCode still hasn't supported. I haven't looked much into MakeCode. You know, I wonder if they're still doing the stream. I found a while ago the MakeCode devs did a weekly stream on, I think it's actually on Monday afternoons. It was on Twitch or something. It was pretty cool to watch in on what they were working on sometimes. This song is slow, thank you. Anything with test repos? Those were all. Okay, kitchen is a little bit cleaner now. And yeah, I don't do this frequently enough to have committed the exact everything to memory. So the part that I have committed to memory is coming to here, going to the creating and sharing Learn Guide, going to the creating page, and it explains Cookie Cutter. So if you're interested in that, you can read this page. It will tell you all about Cookie Cutter. I already have it installed. I will need to get in the virtual environment for it, which is probably just the generic ones. So let's do We'll just do this back, and then that, this. Run this command. We don't so much this before. Tell it yes, it can download its thing. Community bundle. So I'm going to choose 2 for community. So cookie cutter, it's like this series of text prompts like this. One of the nice games with UGamer Stage is it should run on any CircuitPython device, not limited. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Even I believe, I mean, the original one I think was not even a full display, like just a kind of dot matrix of LEDs or something. GitHub user, that's going to be me, Foamy Guy. Author name, I think will be Tim C today. Author email, okay, let's. Company, I don't really have a company per se. Library name, let me go back to here, because this, we need to remember about what, I think this is the short name, right? Yeah, shortest name for the library. Do I want something other than just game controls? Because if so, now is the time to decide. I think I'm happy with game controls. Yeah, I think I'm pretty happy with game controls. Library description. That might exist. Abstraction layer for CircuitPython to access commonly used video game control inputs in a consistent manner across. Yeah, no, that's way better than anything I could write off the top of my head. So thanks to Past Tim for that. Not sure where that from ultimately, but very helpful. Library keywords. Okay, so we can load some stuff up here. Game, games, controller, game. Controller? I don't know if hyphens are a thing, really. Are these space separated or? Yeah. Konami? I don't know. Is that how you spell Konami? Like Konami code? That one's kind of out there, but video game, Game Boy, GameCon. What's that one? Like a convention or? Annoyed by something in there, but that's okay. We'll save that. Probably a pretty good list. Library prefix. I will use CircuitPython, and it needs to be the capitalization that we want ultimately. I'll go capital C, capital P, CircuitPython. Check a bunch of times to try I spelled it correctly. Still possibly not have done so, but hopefully yes. Was a Nintendo games. Oh, Game & Watch? Yeah, Game & Watch, I think, is what Nintendo called it. No, I think because it could tell time or something. I don't think any of them were on your wrist though, really, so it's kind of a weird name. Yeah. Did any of those go on your wrist? Oh, need one. And that stuff. These are the ones I've seen. And yeah, we did do the octopus game. I should look into more of these. I've looked a few times at a list of a couple of the games. Some of them are like, feel more challenging than others to implement for sure. Might be fun to make a few more though. Okay, prefix, CircuitPython, we did product ID. Now there's not really a specific product. Bus device. One. I think the only one I hesitate is like this, right? This is... I mean, this is using that, which I do believe is communicating over I2C ultimately. So bus device is probably kind of required for the library, but really technically only if you're using a thing that uses it. I guess we'll just go with yes to be safe. Although truthfully, it's kind of a moot point on bus device in a lot of ways anyway, because it's built into the core. Other requirements, I guess this is where we could put this. I almost want to do like an optional requirements, truthfully, though, for that. Because the rest of these are all core modules. They don't rely on any other library. Maybe I could re-implement the Featherwing one, not use the library. I think I'm just going to leave that blank for now, and I'll make an optional requirements with the Featherwing one. Sphinx docs, I'm going to do yes, because docs are nice, and then that should have created... Uh-oh. Oh, I think CircuitPython gets put automatically. Shoot, I shouldn't have put that in prefix. Yeah. All right, well, let's just redo that real fast. We can copy paste most of these. Kind of stubbornly not wanting to buy one yet. The only thing that doesn't work is the middle click, but I use the middle click a lot, which I guess is probably why it doesn't work. Okay. I don't know how the ampersand will be treated. Could have named the platform better, yeah. I wonder if it was like a I wonder if it was kind of like a, oh, it's not just a video game. See, it tells time. It's a watch too, Mom. No, I swear, it's not. I don't want it just to play games. I can tell the time. I wonder if it was kind of one of those, like, try to convince the parents to buy it by making it. Okay, so we're gonna do blank here, and it's gonna automatically put CircuitPython. There, we'll do yes, we'll do yes, we'll do none, yes. There we go, that's better. So, open that up and... Alright. Oh, you might be interested in this, DJ Devin. I've been playing with this I'm calling it a fizzbuzz cipher because I kind of implemented it using some concepts of fizzbuzz, but it's like a simple substitution cipher that goes through. Well, those are more gnarly than the smaller set of keys. You have a set of keys, and your input letters get kind of chained through all of these keys, and then come out the other end a different letter. Anyways, this is more about cryptography fun than CircuitPython. I will publish this somewhere and send you a link at some point as well, since I know that's that you find fun and interesting as well. Not gonna be in this list because I never opened it yet. That started as a exercise in C for me. I started implementing some basic ciphers in C just to practice. Let's place to open one up from. I'm gonna just open a random one and then do open because that's gonna put me in the right spot here. But I also did make a Python implementation of this one, even though the original goal was to practice C. It turns out I aimed for something a little bit too complex, and I needed to be able to look at a simpler implementation. Python one else. Okay, game controls. So we need to fix up a few things. What we'll do for this is we'll add the hardware that we currently support. So we'll put the code in. It's currently no code. Now we have game controls. I guess did I never open the local one? Now I'm gonna have two things with the same exact name. Repo, which I might not make a new repo. I might just, once we get everything set, I think I'll just commit to main in this one, and this will become the one for the bundle. But I do want to get stuff set over here first. So what I'm going to do is take the code, paste it, which means this is actually a folder one module package. I'm not sure the proper name, but it's not the one that's a single file. Which means we need to put all of this stuff inside of something else, probably in we could make a note here about like only if you're hooking up through a thing that needs it. Okay, so Pew Pew M4, Ecosystem, Pi Badge, Pi Gamer, Feather Joywing. That's the current hardware. And I think what I'll do is just link to them on circuitpython.org. Yeah, there is that newer? I think that's newer. What else? Pi Badge and the Featherwing. Oh, but the Featherwing will have to link to something else. Yeah, let's cross that bridge. Badge. I guess I'll link to the product page. I wonder if the Joy Featherwing is the same thing as the Stemma Featherwing, which is actually more convenient if you're not using a feather. If it is, then it might just work for both, I think. Oh, wait, what? Oh, no, what happened? Did I actually call Joy Featherwing? Yeah. Okay. To be honest, it doesn't look like that one's gonna work, really. I mean, I know it works because I've been using it on the game that I was working on, so on some level I know it does work or can work. But it doesn't look like it has anything in here that would make it work, like make it import that one. So I guess you have to import it directly, maybe? We should probably add an example of that one eventually as well. Currently, the only example is just using the base import, which is only going to check for these 4. I mean, checking for the Joy Featherwing would be hard also. I guess what we would need to do is like I2C scan, check for it on the bus, which then would make bus device and register more necessary unless we shuffle the imports down somehow. Maybe the rule is just the Joy Featherwing has to like be imported directly instead of using the convenient import. That way the requirement is not a hard one. We'll keep it like that. Oops. Copy the content, not the actual file. All right, we can delete this because I put all of that stuff in here. Because we changed to a package instead of a single one, we're going to have to do this stuff. If it's a package, change PyModules to packages. Can do. Is equals, and it's actually game control. Should we keep it that way though? Maybe we shouldn't. I think I like the underscore. I like the underscore. I don't know if it's gonna break anything, but that means this would need the underscore as well, I'm pretty sure. Silly to like open that just to change the file name, but if you change it in here, it tries to like go crazy and refactor other stuff. I think you can uncheck some boxes. Feather, let me see here. Your book cipher videos, they were great. Trying to get a break, take a break from cryptography. Crypto's fried my brain. I gotcha. Featherwing itself is just a display. I don't think it has buttons or controls. Right. Yeah, no, this library, to be clear also, this library does only encompass the controls, nothing with the display. So lots of these devices are all-in-one devices with displays, but the library itself is actually meant more generally just for inputting the controls. And so the Joywing is like one that's not necessarily a display. There's another one of these that's just like Stemma one, which is actually pretty more convenient, I think, that I know it exists. Although I don't know what it's called. Maybe QT Joywing? Wait. Gamepad. This one. This one's pretty nice if you want to add on the game controls to a project that's not on a Feather. Although I do kind of have my eye on, I think it might be fun to make like a miniature Game Boy, basically, with one of these Joy Feather Wings, and then a Feather Tripler. So you got 3 plugs for feathers in a row. So we put the controls down here. We put a Feather TFT up here at the top. And then I'm thinking in the middle, maybe we put, I mean, you could put anything you want there, or you could put nothing at all if you wanted. But I am thinking what would be cool is a any Featherwing that has an SD card on it. Because an SD card allows you the ability to save your save games into files, into, you know, infinite storage, basically. And so those 3 kind of stacked up on a tripler makes a sort of little rectangle Game Boy looking, you know, almost looks similar to this tall rectangle form factor that the Game Boy unleashed upon the world. I don't know, maybe there was one before the Game Boy. That's the first one I have personal experience with, though. Okay, this is already set up for optional requirements. We'll put Adafruit, Featherwing, Featherring. Actually, this needs to be pip. This needs to be pip style. I guess would be probably Adafruit CircuitPython Featherwing, I think. Fastly. I've been seeing that the last couple of times I used pip, actually. Wait, can I just have the name? Really? TFT Featherwing has an SD card port. Yes, but then it's a little tougher to use the tripler because the Featherwing. Well, there's a bunch of different TFT Featherwings, I think, right? There's a small one. So these, like this style one where the feather plugs in on the back is what I'm used to, and it definitely does have an SD card. But then the display is kind of just hanging off the top of the tripler. I could try to build a case or something. But I kind of I dig about this tripler idea that it's just 3 things on a tripler, no case, no soldering, you know, other than the pins, really, no extra wires or anything. Makes like a kind of, you have to put it together yourself because it's feathers and a Featherwing and a tripler. But it's like very low on the amount of work it actually takes to put it together. The big display would be nice. And I will say a TFT Feather, the screen is relatively small. So the games that you could make are not perhaps as interesting as you could do on a bigger screen. But I do like that idea of kind of like keeping it all within the profile of the tripler so that it doesn't need any other case or anything, really. It'd be, I mean, practically, like, in terms of actual practicality for playing it, truthfully, like, my hands are probably too big to play it comfortably for too long. But I do still think it would be a neat project. Yeah. there's probably a way to like make an adapter. Maybe that should be like on my try to learn PCB making thing at some point, is like you could probably do an adapter that has female to male or whatever you need pins and offset however they need to be in order to make the TFT one with the bigger screen kind of like scooch up and out of the way, but still plug in to the tripler underneath. That you could that fairly easily with a custom PC. Just don't have the real PCB design skills yet. So there's definitely going to be some more to do things. Git grep to do. All right, here's what we're going to do. Git. First of all, what's the remote called? Origin. Let's go git remote, rename origin foamy guy. I try to keep these always matching the user. Prepare for bundle. We're going to make a branch, prepare for bundle. We're going to start putting our stuff into it. Open this. Grab all of this. I guess we'll take that too. I don't. So you're going to go ahead and close both of these so that we don't have any of that stuff open. See all of this, go back to here, go to here. Okay, and we're in our... Oops. All right, I closed all those things. We should be in that new branch though. Status. Yeah, prepare for bundle. Paste all of this stuff. Actually, cancel. Yeah, everything. This one. Now we have all of our stuff, and I will... Git ignores already checked in, but it has changed, so I will just... Maybe we can commit that first. Why does init say it's a change and not a new file? Wait. They were there already. Right. They existed already. The only thing I changed was adding this on. Duh. Yes. Okay. Yeah, I think those are fine, right? Yeah, let's do that. Fine. Let's add everything else. Git add all. Then we can git grep -n to autodoc rec. Oh, okay. These are things to do, but just configurations about things to do. These ones are though. Index RST go there. Alright, using this thing is actually pretty handy. Alright, to-dos are if there are any products, link them here. Otherwise, simply delete this. I mean, we could list all the same ones again. I'm gonna delete it for now. Maybe I'll come back and do it later. But I already got them listed in the comment that was somewhere else. Need learn guides. I'm gonna leave it blank for now, but maybe I'll come back and put the tile map one in once that code actually uses this. That looks like the end of the to-do. I thought there. Oh, okay. I was about to say I thought there were some. Skipped these ones. To-do. Move the note about PyPy. Yes, I'll put it on PyPy. Oh, is the old one on PyPy? That's gonna actually complicate if the old one doesn't have any releases or a PyProject.toml or anything. No, yeah, this is definitely not on PyPy. Okay. So yeah, I'm gonna delete that because it is gonna be on PyPy. That's the intention. What's the last one? Quick simple example. Code block on. All right, how bad we fail pre-commit? Dash dash gets dash. So let's just empty. No. I think I'm gonna. I think I'm gonna change it to button state, because it gives you the current button state. I did something like Ada for tripler for feather and 3 1x4 neo keys. You have the 1x4 neo keys. Simple but much more elegant than connecting everything using cables. Yeah, I have definitely become a bit spoiled by the feather wings and the stemma cables and just how easy it is to connect stuff up. I will admit that. That sounds more up to Shippus with the game controls, though. You look into what it would take to add thumbstick buttons. Okay. Yeah, I think I like button state better to convey the fact that there's like technically it's multiple buttons for one thing. So like it's not really, you're not fetching anything about a button. You're fetching the state of all the buttons currently. I feel like button state conveys better. Realistically, I don't know if it works with the docs, but like it would be nice to just define this in the base class with its doc string, and then we're kind of like overriding it to implement it in here. I don't necessarily want to fight the docs too much, so I'm just going to do the copy paste route, but that might be better ultimately, as if that was actually in base and then we don't have this description copy, because right now we're basically ended up with this copied once for each one of these, but Ooh, nice. Okay. Yeah, that's cool. Nice little macro pad. Adapter's basically a featherwing adapter. Yeah, that's all I was imagining was a featherwing adapter. Basically, just taking the two footprints of the feather pins and like scooting them up and further apart to make the TFT one fit with the tripler, basically. Current state of all D. It wants me to do all D buttons. Dictionary containing the button states. These are strings up, left, right, A, X, Y. Thank you very much. Start select. Just select? Hold on. Why is there no... Or just this thing doesn't have start, maybe? Start? So we should only do select on this one, I guess. It seems like it doesn't have a... Either it doesn't have a starter. I just forgot to do it. Feather start? Does not. Has a select only. That's why. Keys are the strings. Those values are booleans. Scoot it in, I think. And then this is basically going to for all the rest of these. They just will each have their own slight state. This one has only A, B, and Y. X. Start select. Why that's doing. Select. This one has everything. So add start. This one has only A, B, no X, Y. But I guess that is one thing that's a bit awkward. Maybe we should make it like return none if you're on a device that doesn't have that and you request it. Or what it would do. Probably a value error right now. A little bit. Oh, there is start and select actually. Then PyGamer should be the same. If I go all the way, there. A, B, whoops. No X, Y, but yes, start and select. Got a hole for the display cable, duplicate everything in the TFT board initially. Yeah. I am about the furthest away from a PCB wizard, personally. Sounds like a good plan to me. Yeah, and this is totally the kind of thing I was thinking with the, where it's kind of like rearranging the, although this is Pico to a featherwing, but very similar idea. Yeah, that's cool. You have a cutie pie feather. Oh, and the cutie pie is off to the side there. I didn't even clock the small one. Yeah, that's really cool. Never seen behind a display. Yeah, I never peeled one up to look behind. I have one that's not stuck down super hard somewhere. Can't say as though I've gone really looking around too much underneath it. I suspect they're all kind of like ribbon cables, right? Kind of like I Spy or the other one that's a ribbon cable. The Qualia things. Qualia? Yeah, Qualia. How bad are we? Ah, actually, we passed. Look at that. First try. I mean, second try. I don't know. First try at fixing the problems. Let's put it that way. The following files have no license. Yeah. Guess we'll put licenses on our code. I think we just want MIT for everything. Realistically, see if it passes, which is this. Probably would be good to put like a little bit of a description in each class, maybe. Plus, there's usually that other boilerplate stuff like the version thing and the. Maybe that only needs to be in a init though. I'm sure, actually. Oh gosh. Okay. One could get deleted. Oh, but we want the code. But I already have it? Yeah, I already have it. Okay, that one could get deleted. It's all green. There's schematics for them sometimes, or the TFT Featherwing shows the connector. Okay. Is this one ready to push right now? I wonder why some of the examples are unlicensed instead of MIT. I used to put a lot of my code into unlicensed for a while. I'm actually surprised this is not an error. I thought you had to have the underline be the same number of characters. I've run into that. Actually, this is the... Oh, okay, that's fixed. Nice. You can use different characters, too, because... Oh, but this will be... Yeah, we need to do that. Oh, let's build the docs, I guess. Probably not going to be much there. Examples... Game control simple test. Oh, right, because of the underscore. Any reference not found. That's another one where it needs an underscore. Where is this? Init docstring game controls 1. Oh. Could that be init? Might should be init. Let's look at like display text as... No, okay. That one's just by itself. These other ones, though, do get this thing. They do all have, like, this kind of structured stuff, so maybe we ought to add that to the others. I mean, it's not about it. I think I'm actually just going to leave it for now. They do also get these, though. I don't currently have. I don't really know what these do. All right, builds. That passes. And game controls. So I okay, new project. Connected services. Yeah. Repository name. You do still need the URL though, so most of these are actually spaces, but a lot of the ones that I've made are underscores. This is on some. With a lot of things in my life, I just wasn't very consistent. This is sometimes underscores, sometimes. Looks like I never ventured into dashes. I don't really like dashes too. I guess we'll go space game controls. Cooler KiCad, it's fairly simple to use the Eagle project designs, including the schematics, board layouts, traces, and footprints to build new designs. Haven't done it with the display yet, but it's on my. Put the sun blocker up. I would say playing with KiCad some is on my list. Eagle, from what I understand, doesn't work so great on Linux. One of these days, I will get a little mini Windows workstation thing going, but need the repo, which means we can actually just come back to here for now. It's ready, and then I was gonna look at them, but I accidentally I think it gets tripped up. It finds the ones that are in that config file. They're not actual to-dos. They're like a configuration about to-dos, and then there's a couple of comments about the configuration about to-dos. Finds another faster song again. Underscores are mandatory, like with GitHub naming or something. Yeah. Yeah, no, there definitely are things where spaces are not supported, which is why I tend to default to underscores. I do think that read the docs is okay though for the title. They have the concept of a slug somewhere, which I guess just gets done automatically because it doesn't have a list, or maybe it's on the next page or something. I don't know, but there is also a slug, and the slug is like this part. It can't have spaces because it's in the URL, and it does use a hyphen instead of an underscore. No, underscores are valid in URLs. They're just weird for URLs. I mean, I don't think they're weird. I think they're fine, but lots of people would say probably a hyphen is a more natural URL character. Okay, let's merge this to main. And make sure that the old stuff is gone, which it is. That pushed. There's where the old one got deleted. It's like, where did they get deleted though? All right, main now has all this stuff. Docs are unknown. Set it up yet, but now we have the repo, so we can get the URL. We can get back to here. We can put that. Default branch is main. Language will be English. Chips, yeah. Yeah. Dark times. We already have that. They specify 313. They also specify 2404. We should have this too. This is a new requirement, which used to have a default. Yeah, we have that already. That's been fixed in cookie cutter. Patched now. This file exists. Yeah, so it does this thing, and it's like, oh my gosh, everything's broken. We can't do it, and you just got to be like, it's gonna be fine. Just chill out. Then we go to here. I probably should. Let me take this off screen for a second, because somewhere along the way is going to be a thing which is supposed to be private, I'm pretty sure. This is another thing I will say, though, I don't do enough to like actually remember all the exact ways to do this. Integration? Integration? Gotta go look at a different one. GitHub incoming webhook. Okay, yeah, that's what we need. GitHub incoming webhook, yeah. Okay. Yeah, here's the secret. Yeah, I knew this was coming. I should go through one of these days and do this and record it and update the guide, though, because I will say the guide's out of date. Read the docs has a new interface now. Well, actually, the guide, I think, just tells you to connect your account. It would be nice to have the process for a non-connected account documented too. So maybe I should just connect my account. Anyways, we've got this URL now. I think, what if I just put this here? Back to here, and I can maybe little tiny bit of this visible. We need to go to webhooks. Need to add a webhook. Do more authentication things. Webhooks. So we're gonna put, and all of this stuff read the docs is giving to me when I'm creating the webhook on that side. So I'm gonna kind of like paste that stuff into there. Okay, SL, just the push, everything. I don't remember, so we need to look actually somewhere else again. Fortunately, I do have to drag this back because I don't. It will show. I mean, I don't think it will show the secret, but I also don't want to risk it. Just the push is what this one's on. Okay, so you can do just the push. The push. Add the webhook. Added. Okay. Boom. It's on. We can pull this back. That's been copied. No activity. Never been triggered. Sync. There we go. This. Build complete. Badge? Badge green. Look at that. Very good. Okay. Do the docs actually like exist and stuff? Yeah. Example. There's not much to them, admittedly. In fact, nothing really in here. Not great, but yeah, we should go make the docs better, but they are there, they're building, they're linked, they got a badge. Okay. Now we are pretty much ready to be able to add this to the community bundle, I think. One thing actually we must do before that is make a release. Oh. Also, I need to check another thing in settings, which you cannot see, so bear with me. Yeah, I'm gonna need another thing. Okay, let me look for something. Which unfortunately I can't share because it's like about token basically. Ah, this is quite the pickle actually. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. Challenging. Okay. Oops. This is another one. This is another library that I made that's in the community bundle. And I do have to drag this back off pretty quick, but you can see where we're going here as I'm looking at the old one, how it's set up, because I need to know the right way to put the PyPy stuff. Okay. PyPy username, PyPy password. That is repository. Game controls. Keep doing that. PyPy username. PyPy password. Actually a token. Copy something else. Clear this. What's that? Okay. PyPy username and password. So that when we make the release, the action which is in here for releasing to PyPy hopefully will actually work. It wants those to exist. And we'll see if it works. This will also compile the MPY files and try to upload them to the release page. Also, let me close the million windows which are now in front of my chats. Go. Have a great weekend. Playoffs tomorrow if you like sports ball. Yep, take it easy, DJ Devin. Thanks for hanging out for a bit. Nope, failed. I probably 4 or 3. Oh, I did the username wrong. You're supposed to put dunder token dunder, and I did not do that. All right, back to the land of things you're not allowed to see. Okay. Fingers crossed. Maybe. Oh, GitHub once failed also. 403 also. That one I'm less sure what to do about, really. I thought GitHub just kind of like automatically had its own token or whatever. Honestly, it looks like we need that too, so. So now the question is, do I actually need to add token? Token here. All right, I guess we'll try it with just the change to and see if that fixes the GitHub one. And I was gonna rerun the old one, which I guess we could do for posterity's sake, but I think I'm just gonna make a new one now. I'm gonna make sure that passes, and then I'll make a release if it does. While that's running, though, I'm also gonna run to the restroom, so I will be RB. Okay, did pass 101. All right, hopefully at least the PyPy one will work. Yeah, okay, we got green there. Hopefully the GitHub one will too. So I'm less convinced that fixing the package prefix is going to resolve the 403. for GitHub, then I was convinced that the PyPy one would be resolved by using the proper user placeholder. It's strange that I'm not allowed. It's strange that I'm like explicitly not allowed to use the username. You have to send the token and the placeholder dunder token instead of your username and your token. Yeah, we're still 403 here. We're gonna need a GitHub token. I think maybe I think there's a setting for it. I think setting. Back to here. Sorry for much of this we got to do during today's stream, but actions, general. Read and write. That's what we. One might be dicey to redo anyway. I don't know if it. I have like a vague memory of feeling like I ran into problems trying to redo this one at some point on a native fruit one, and so I tend to just make new releases if I ever need it to rerun, more so these days, but I'll give it a try. I guess hopefully the right access goes for the assets, the scope, where that fits in the realm of scopes, but this will be within it. Oh, complete and green. Did it actually work though? Yes. Okay, so we got our MPY builds. We should be on PyPy now. I should get out of the habit of doing it. It's probably a bad habit on. Minutes ago. Okay, now I do believe we are ready to add to the bundle. Bundle? Not voice activated. All right, we're just going to do it open. I think, is it CircuitPython community bundle? Yeah, there it is. Oh. I need to come back and delete the old list and everything. Is that working? I think I've remembered to check in on that. Speaking of the bad habits, but need a bookmark? I actually made the change recently to add this auto library list file, which Adabot updates automatically. You can see the commit here. The last time this file got changed, it was Adabot doing it automatically, whereas the last time this one got changed, it was manual. Just a person came in and actually had to manually add this stuff. The goal is actually to remove the manual one, so I need to come back and actually make a new PR that deletes the manual file, and then renames the auto, or I guess depending on how you want to think about it, really what we want is just rename the auto one to be the manual one, take auto out of the name, and then update the guide to say whenever you create a community library, you don't need to do that. Like, we can take that step out of the guide, basically. While we're here, let's do a couple of these. Looks like there's some reviews in, or some PRs in. So usually for this, the main thing, oh, that's got to be put in though. Yeah, so subfolder here needs to be changed to either drivers or helpers. In this case, I think drivers most. Oh, this like added a subfolder. Okay. Copying the, it's really more of a command. Fit in the library list is usually the step I forget. Yeah, for sure. Now, there was an issue in for this a while ago, and it was one of the things I nabbed a couple of weeks back when I was kind of doing a tear through issues through music. All right, so this time we are in helpers, and then, yeah, so what I was getting ready to say, one of the main things really to check here is that there is a release, because if you add it to the bundle and there's no release, then it breaks the bundle build. We'll go here and we'll check, and yeah, we've got a 1.0. It doesn't have MPY file? I think it needs all of that stuff. I'm not sure though. I have another random one that has it. Like, I think it will need, at a minimum, the release GH, because I think that the bundle grabs the MPY files from here. I could be wrong, but I think that happens because that's also like when you don't have a release, it breaks the bundle build. So this is Bablock B, who's done some more work on this stuff. Does Bablock B have any other? They have any other ones? If so, are those that way? If so, do they work fine? So that does not have any action. Nor does it have anything here. Okay, so does that work? CircuitPython segment display? oh, the example is quite the same as the naming we use either. So this is that this way. E-ink play. Or if that's plug a device in randomly. Kind of disaster zone on my desk right now still a little bit. Or another thing to check would be is like, are those included in the bundle as MPY files? Or anything? Check MPY. Let's also check just Python. These get removed. These get sorted back out of drivers and helpers. That's interesting. What are we looking for? CircuitPython segment display, but it's actually e-ink segment display. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it seems like I'm just wrong. Seems like it works without that. Maybe the community bundle builds differently? But I mean, I know that the releases thing, I know that that's a thing. If you don't have a release, that breaks. Maybe that's because it needs to get the release tag to put in the code or whatever. That's probably it. So it must build its own MPY, but it wants to be able to insert the version, is my guess. And so theoretically, something like circup install e-ink seg display, this should work, I think. Yeah, cool. Let me just like triple check that it actually put it on my device, but yeah, cool. Yeah, I totally did not know that. Thought you needed to have the actions. There is a release, like we saw. Does music? Oh, it's async buzzer stuff. Okay. Oh, and you can do notes. Is it polyphonic? Can you play on all those at once? That's cool. Should play with that one of these days. Oh, hooked up with a sequencer even. Bundle process builds the MPY from the release py. But in this one, there is not even a, well, there's a source code, I guess, but there's not explicitly a release py. I guess the source code. And that one is in helpers, which is cool. And they did list it in here. It'll also get added automatically. The other one. I'll do this bit, and then I think we'll call it good for the day. So we can bundle out main update. Yeah, submodules and this UI kind of don't don't work very nicely together. The way that this thing uses submodules, where it's like really technically just a big list of submodules. Oh, I forgot. Submodules also make the update take forever. I should have done git pull from the terminal. I just clone this. I just reclone this. I could try to cancel it, but I also don't think it cancels very well. Partially updated actually like it did something like right as I tried to cancel. But I wonder if that's just can I just git pull? Yeah. New branch of add game controls. Should have done no track probably, but I think it's actually okay because of the way I'm gonna push. All right, so we need to do what now? We need to ring in a bundle. On that recursive. There we go. Okay, so get submodule, add the link to the repo. Git submodule, add link to the repo. And then libraries, drivers, and the short name. Libraries, it's gonna be just be helpers or drivers. I guess I guess helpers. I guess helpers. Like I think of it as kind of a driver since like its primary goal is interfacing with hardware. But more specifically, its primary goal is interfacing with multiple pieces of hardware and abstracting away the differences, which is more helpery than drivery. Like if we were writing a driver for any individual gamepad hardware, that's more of a driver. This, I guess, is more of a helper. I don't know. It's kind of opinion, really. It doesn't ultimately matter all that much, but and then we will do the short name, which is so no Adafruit or CircuitPython. So for me, that means just game controls remains. It's the same as this. All right. That thing. Yeah, so this will be, I'll take this out once I do change the list thing finally to not have the automatic name. But for now, I will do it since it is still there. So we'll go to drivers RST, which is in the front of my face that I was just talking about. Helpers. And these are in alphabetical, so we'll go controls. Keep it relatively brief. Here's one I meant to ask you, Tim. Is there a BLE gamepad library for CircuitPython or supported services? Wanted to reuse a PS4 pad for something, but not via Arduino. So basically, it boils down to not that I know of. The closest thing that I know of would be like there are a handful of BLE libraries. Adafruit CircuitPython BLE, which theoretically do BLE stuff like central, peripheral, HID, central, and peripheral. It depends on how your controller works, and I don't really know how the controllers work. The closest thing that I think we would have though would be something like this, where you're working like relatively low level. You're gonna probably have to figure out your own sort of data packets or whatever that the thing is sending back and forth and how to interpret them, and you might have to figure out like your own characteristics and services and stuff if it's a BLE thing. Yeah, there's no higher level one that I'm aware of. I will say on that topic though, I also have gotten this thing. How well the camera will actually pick it up, sorry. But I have gotten this thing. It is wired though, it's USB. And one of the things I would like to do still is add support for that to game controls, the library I've been working on via USB host. But I have no idea whether or not that's feasible or possible or anything either. That's just a thing I would like to do. And it's not really. I mean, they're both gamepads, but yours being BLE makes it technologically quite a bit different, even though they are similar. Okay, we added that. We added it to here. We need PyPy, so let's grab that. I don't know what's up with that Fastly thing there. That's kind of a little bit weird to just like jump in the middle, throw up your logo. Use some kind of like warning or something that says like, hey, this is normal, not like your thing's been hijacked or whatever, because it's a little bit unnerving to search on PyPy and it's just like blink, different thing, blink, back to PyPy. When a chip's register needs to be accessed, you're probably into driver territory. Oh, that's a good distinction. For a steering wheel to an RC. I was thinking of making a USB to BLE adapter. Oh, that'd be pretty sweet. All right, and then commit and push. So our changes are the Git modules file with the new thing added, the list with the thing inserted alphabetically, all of the copy pasted parts changed, my own stuff. Did copy paste it? Technically. And the code itself is in the submodule folder. All right. I think that is going to do it for today. So thank you to everyone who is watching along and hanging out in the chat. I will be back next week, I believe. Until then, I hope you have a good day, a good rest of your weekend, and I'll see you later. Take it easy.